Welcome back to Recap KC, y'all. As always, I'm Nolan Akram. This is Jonathan Ellis. Um, this might be a little somber video. Most of our teams took the L's this weekend. But, we're going to talk about my Jayhawks first. So, KU drops to Baylor 74-82 for their first consecutive losses of the year. With the help of Dennis at none. With all that being said, KU drops to 9-7 in conference play, the worst in Bill Self era. So, I guess let's get down to the details. So, KU shot 55.2%, and Baylor shot 55.6% from the floor. So, I thought they shot pretty well, at least from, field goal percentage wise. But once again, Kansas just pissed away opportunities from deep, going 4 for 13, not being able to make anything. And of course, Baylor went 7 for 17. And KU didn't do a good enough job from the line either. They shot 6 for 8, but to make up for that poor shooting from deep, they needed to be more aggressive and try to draw more fouls. You know what I mean? Because Baylor went 15 for 20. So, we needed to be much more aggressive in drawing fouls to make up for our terrible shooting. And we were also out-rebounded 23-31. KJ Adams and Dickinson combined for 7 rebounds. Furphy and KJ also went cold from the offensive perspective. KJ went 3 for 3 from the floor, but he wasn't aggressive at all in that second half. He wasn't trying to look to score. Sorry. He wasn't aggressive at all and wasn't really looking to try to score enough. And Furphy just couldn't hit a shot. He just looked rattled and just not ready to play in that atmosphere at Baylor. I've been talking for a while, John. You got anything else you want to add so far?
Yeah, kind of like you were saying, man. I thought they did a pretty poor job rebounding the basketball. Also, like you were saying, they shot pretty decently, like from the two point field goal range, both sides.
Yeah.
But I thought KU's defense wasn't really on par like they normally are. To be honest with you, they let a lot of open looks happen, and Baylor, scored. The 3-point percentage definitely was the game changer here. Baylor shot a lot better from the 3-point line, like you were saying as well. What I wanted to say was, I was kind of surprised McCullough was back in this game playing. I just thought he would kind of take another rest day. Probably should have, honestly, because it's not like he played terribly, but he could not get a 3-pointer to fall and save his life, man. 0 for 5 from there. Like you said, I think that Baylor did a great job kind of playing good defense on Furphy, keeping him in check. Dickinson, though, I thought played a pretty good game overall, besides being, again, not having great on the rebounding aspects of things. He should have had double-digit rebounds for sure.
Yeah.
And KJ Adams, 1 rebound is not going to get it done on any type of night. Like you said, he needed to be more aggressive in that one. I did want to give a shout-out, though, to El Marco Jackson. I thought he played well off the bench. Kind of got some decent minutes for KU for once. Also, I thought KU took care of the basketball well. They didn't turn it over a lot. Just couldn't really capitalize on a lot of those offensive possessions. Kind of a little stagnant and sometimes down the game. Credit, like I said, you said none played a great game. I thought Ray J. Dennis, he had a great bounce back game compared to how he played at Allen Fieldhouse. Struggled at Allen Fieldhouse. He played beautifully in this one, 19 points, 10 assists. Shout out Misi too. I thought he matched up with Dickinson really well in that game. 17 points, 8 rebounds. But like we were saying, man, you gotta be able to rebound the basketball and play good, efficient defense on the road. Letting the home team score at that rate and out rebounding you is not gonna get it done on the road in the Big 12.
No, and DeJuan Harris, I think he did fine. 12 points, 9 assists, 3 steals, but that was a close game all game. that was another game where he needed to be more aggressive as well, looking to score, because I don't think KU ever let it get too out of hand to the point where they couldn't at least attempt to make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? I think it's when DeJuan Harris really needed to just shoot more. That's it. At least try. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
he was pretty efficient. 6 for 11. Like I'd like to see
yeah,
him take some more shots. KJ Adams too, man, 3 for 3 from the field, but he just wasn't looking to score in this one, man. Like, and he's such a good player on that like short roll, man. Like inside the paint, right around the free throw line. He does not miss shots around there. So I'd like to see him score a lot more in this one for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I think, yeah, the biggest downfall is this game was just offense in general. Nobody looking to be aggressive on the offensive end. And McCullough, like you said, and I don't even know why he came back. There were reports everywhere that he wasn't even going to return until March Madness. But so that was a huge surprise when I turned on the game when I saw he was playing. Like, what, like, why is he playing?
No, I
It,
agree,
it
man. But I thought it was maybe he just like was tired of seeing KU kind of struggle from the sideline. I can't blame the guy. He's a guy who wants to win.
oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to watch his team struggle on the bench. So I think he needed to sit this one out regardless. I know it was a big game for KU, but I don't know if they really had it in them to win this game anyway. Baylor's a tough opponent, especially on the road, playing in Waco. So I did want to say, like, I thought KU kept up with them a lot in the first half. It was pretty good up until about, I want to say, like the 10-minute mark in the second half when Baylor started
Yeah.
to start to pull away in that one. So I thought they played well up to that point, but again, you can't let Baylor take open shots and knock them down in Waco, where it's not going to be a recipe for a win for a Kansas team that's really needed a win in this one, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, we really just shot ourselves in the foot. And yeah, like we both just said, it's not like Kansas ever really let this game get so far out of hand to the point where they literally couldn't make a comeback. So, yeah, I don't know. Those offensive shooting woes aren't going to go away either unless some crazy shit happens. Some crazy luck's going to have to really turn around. I mean, Jayhawks are going to have to make the equivalent turnaround to what the Chiefs did this postseason if they're going to do anything. It's going to have to be something that drastic. I mean, that's the only comparison I could think of.
Well, really, they just got to knock down the three ball, man. Like we said, they shot well in this game. Like
We can't do it.
They didn't have a problem scoring necessarily. They had a problem getting their 3-point percentage up. You can't let the other team shoot over 40% and then not kind of match that at the very least.
Well, it's crazy because our perimeter defense has just been so mediocre all year. I mean, I don't know the statistics. Obviously, I just watch enough games to tell you that our perimeter defense is garbage or not the best. And we can't shoot either. So when you can't defend shooters and you can't shoot, it's just, you're not going to win a whole lot of games in the Big 12. But anyways, I got a few players, though, I want to shout out for Baylor. We kind of did it already, but I guess my player of the game has to be Dennis. I mean, 19 points, 10 assists, 2 steals. Somehow it shot 7 for 8 from the floor. Nobody could guard that guy. And then 4 for 5 from the line. Another guy, Nunn, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 7 for 8 from the floor, 3 for 3 from deep. And you shouted out Misi already. So, and KU's only notable player to me was Marco Jackson. I mean, that's the only guy that exceeded expectations or played how he was supposed to, or you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Only one that showed up.
To touch base on what you just said, man, I think Nunn is a very underrated player in this conference. I don't think he gets a lot of love, but he's had some wonderful games, man. Like I've watched some Baylor games this year, and he's played great basketball, man. I think he had a game winner. And I can't remember if it was against Iowa State or something like that, but he had a game winning layup in one of those games, man. He's a tough player, and like I said, I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. Also, Ray J. Dennis, that dude, he's a flat out scorer. He's a really good point guard. I think he's translated to the Big 12 very well, coming from a mid-major program. He's a real deal, man. Like Baylor, I think they have some great players. And this one, there's not a whole lot of bench production from Baylor nor KU besides Marco Jackson, but you're kind of used to that watching teams like this. They kind of rely on their starting lineups a lot. But I think, Walter and Bridges kind of struggled for Baylor. I think that's the one positive side for KU. I think they defended Jacoby Walter pretty decently in comparative to how he normally plays. But, however, like I said, Baylor just had the recipe to get it done, for their two guards shooting 14 for 16. That's just, you can't win when you're letting the backcourt do something like that.
Well, I don't understand why DeJuan Harris has been so inconsistent at times defending the perimeter.
But yeah, great game overall, though, for sure.
And
I think it was a good one to watch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I don't know, just inconsistent perimeter defense. Those guys shooting percentages, like you just said, that's just unbelievable. Scott Drew is the guard whisperer. Yeah, I don't have anything else I want to add, dude. We can move on to your Wildcats if you want. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, man, I was going to say, I think we summed it up pretty well. Good game overall, but, they got a couple games left in conference to get her done. Kansas State versus Cincinnati was a quad one opportunity for the Wildcats to go on the road, capitalize, and win a tough game. Unfortunately, nobody really showed up to play. Besides, I want to give a shout out to two guys for K-State, Tyler Perry and Jarrell Colbert. Colbert had the game of his career so far, 15 points, 7 rebounds, and only 17 minutes of action. I thought that was a really, really good high point for K-State, also shooting 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Perry, he's been in and out, just a great player. He's been kind of stepping up these last few games, doing what he needs to do. You've seen if the K-State would have won this game, I think he would be up for National Player of the Week with how he's been playing. But unfortunately, nobody else really wanted to show up, man. Kaluma and Carter, they only combined for 6 for 22 from the field, 12 turnovers between the two of them. Really terrible game, I'm going to say, by both of them, man. You can't have 12 turnovers by two of your main three guys and expect to win, especially on the road, man. I don't know how Kansas State was such in this game. Shout out Perry for hitting that ridiculous shot to give them the lead late. First lead they had since 8-5 in the first half. Like I said, without Perry, man, this thing would have been a blowout. There's no doubt about it. Kaluma, 3 for 10 from the field. He's now 7 for 20 in his last two games. Not going to get it done, man.
Yeah, you're right. Carter and Kaluma, they just needed to simply shoot better, man. And you guys definitely could have won this game, I think. I mean, it was right there because both teams played really evenly. And KSU shot 42% from the floor, and Cincinnati shot 47%, almost identical from deep. You guys shot 42.9%, and then Cincinnati shot 38.1%. But you guys even killed them from the line. I mean, but it's a huge surprise how Cincinnati won. Just look at these numbers. You guys went 21 for 25 from the line, while Cincinnati went 4 for 8. That's mind-boggling to me. But, yeah, turnovers killed you guys, though. I mean, 19 turnovers to Cincinnati 6. Yeah, that's just not going to get it done, obviously. But you guys also got outscored in the paint, 24-36. But, yeah, overall, though, you guys really needed Kaluma Carter to step up a little bit more if you guys wanted to win. And who's your player of the game?
Yeah, man. Like you said, Kaluma and Carter, they can't do that for combining for more than half their turnovers. My player of the game, man, I'm gonna like Perry. Obviously, is a player that you can say would be the player of the game, but to me, I might say it's Colbert just because I thought that's a big game for him. Like I said, career high in
Yeah.
points, 7 rebounds, 5 for 8, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Um, and like he doesn't really do that in and out. So I think like he really stepped up to the challenge on the road here. Perry, a wonderful game for him again, 6 for 8 from three. But if one more player for K State could have stepped up, this is a win for K State, no doubt about it. Those two are the only guys that had any sort of offensive production all night long.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying, dude. Like all Kaluma or Carter needed to do is just make one or two more plays apiece, and you guys probably walk home with the victory. You know what I mean? But
100%.
my player. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say my player of the game is probably John Newman the third. I mean, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Shot 66.7% from the floor and went 2 for 3 from deep. And he's my player of the game because, I mean, if you look at his season averages, he averages 9.3 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. And he goes and plays, I mean, both teams were desperate in a way. They're both trying to fight for a spot in March, but he vastly outperformed what he normally does. You know what I mean? So that's why he's my player of the game. And
Well,
yeah,
no, like you said, man, Newman, he had a wonderful game, man, 8 for 12 from the field. He really stepped up big. I also want to give a shout out to Day Thomas. He's a
yeah,
guy. He struggled from deep this year. He's not been that scorer. He stepped up and made some plays, man. 6 for 11, 14 points, and of course, got to give a shout out to Lukosius, man. He didn't shoot the greatest this one, but he hit that game-winning shot at the top of the key that really sealed the deal for Cincinnati. And then lastly, I just want to give a shout out to that freshman Jizzle James off the bench,
yes,
10 points, 5 for 11. He had some tough plays in that one, man, hitting some tough layups.
yeah. James, he's another guy that I had down for a notable player for the Bearcats. Yeah, 10 points, 4 assists coming off the bench. I mean, that's clutch. They needed every bit of it, and man, if you guys just had one more guy do that coming off the bench or anything, you guys are definitely going home with the victory. That's just heartbreaking to lose in the fashion you guys did. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
because you can't really say one team vastly outplayed the other. It's just whoever played more efficiently towards the stretch of the game, towards the end. Um, oh well, that was a great game though. It really was between those two. Even though it was a gut wrenching game for Kansas State, it still was a really good game overall from a
Yeah,
fan
man.
point perspective.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I thought it was a great game as well. Personally, I thought this game was over on a couple different times throughout the game in the second half. Like Cincinnati pushed it to like 13-point lead, here and there. But like I said, credit to Tyler Perry, man. That dude just did not give up. He was hitting three after three, trying to keep K State in this game. Like I said, hit that ridiculous three to give him the lead too. Um, just unfortunately couldn't get it done on the defensive end. Let Luke Hocius get that 3-pointer. I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen too, man. K State's lost a couple heartbreakers off game winners this year, man, like TCU, Cincinnati. A couple games that if it went the other way around, K State would be in a completely different position right now, going down in the last couple of days, games of the Big 12 here. But now they're in dangerous territory, man. Like their at-large bid stakes are pretty much almost gone now, unless they can win at KU, win against Iowa State, and then win a couple games in the Big 12 tournament. And even then, it's a little bit slim. But at this point, they have to win pretty much every game on the schedule.
Nah, I mean, no, you guys can't lose any more games. I mean, KU's in the same damn boat though. I mean, you just got to run the table now. You don't have an option. Um, I who knows? Speaking of standings and whatnot, who knows where Kansas will even be? In the AP poll. I mean, I've seen some power rankings this morning as low as like 25. I don't really buy that. I still think they're a, slightly above a top 25 team. You know what I mean? They're not a top 10 team, obviously, but at least above top 20.
Yeah, to me, I think they're going to land around like 18, maybe 19, something like that. I'm going to say between like 17 and 20 is probably where they'll be at in the rankings. However, like, people like to favor KU, so I could see them being a little bit higher, like a 15 or a 16 or something like that. But um, I think it's a fair ranking to drop them down at like 10 slots at least for back to back losses. Like you said, lowest point in Bill Self's Big 12 era, going 9-7 in the Big 12. Not something that KU fans are accustomed to seeing, man. That's something that is a little bit worrisome heading into March. But again, you got to realize that you take it at one game at a time. Whatever happens right now isn't really a huge deal for KU. Obviously, it helps for momentum if they can win a couple games. But everybody got a fresh slate. If you make it to the tournament, everybody's 0-0, man. Nobody's got to win. Nobody's got to lose. So you gotta look at it that way. Realize that there's still plenty of chances down the stretch here to make a little bit of a confidence boost and make a deep run in the tournament. It's all just mental, honestly. You just have to be able to have that belief in yourself, play night in and night out like it's your last game of the season, and I think it's going to be fine for KU overall. It's all the ball's in their court, man. Like I said, it all depends on how they react to it and how this team's going to finish out. They could be a team that goes to the Sweet 16 or farther, or they could be a team that gets upset in the first round, man. The legacy's in their hands.
Yeah, I had never seen a Bill Self team. I guess historically, this technically is the worst Bill Self team ever, but I personally don't feel that way. But I do think it's the most inconsistent team I've ever seen in the Bill Self era by far. I mean,
Yeah.
we've shown that we can beat anybody like Purdue or UConn, Houston easily, and then we go around one week and lose to fucking UCF or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
yeah. I just hope Bill Self, I guess, and Jerome Tang. I just hope both of these guys haven't lost their teams right before March. You know what I mean? Like, now is the time where everyone obviously needs to buy into their schemes, because if not, it's over. Like, it's that simple.
Well, like you said, man, you gotta this is time to step up, make some plays. Obviously, Kansas State's in a little bit more of a dangerous territory than KU coming down the
Oh
stretch
yeah.
here. K State hasn't won a conference tournament since 1980, so that's pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to pull something off like that and get an automatic bid. Um, but essentially, they're going to have to make it almost to the Big 12 championship if they want to get an at-large bid, man. At this point, maybe they could be favored if they can win at KU and against Iowa State. That's two quad one wins. We'll put them at 9-9 in conference play, which I feel like might be enough to get them in there. But again, I'm not entirely sure. They might just skip out on them. Either way, I think they'll play in the NIT. If not, but it's not something that they want to do. Certainly not something. I mean, Perry is accustomed to playing there. They won the NIT last year at North Texas. But I think Perry wants to go to the NCAA tournament, man. He's been playing like it the last few games. He's not a guy that wants to play in NIT. He wants to get to the tournament and make a run. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to go against KU tomorrow night. I think if K-State can limit their turnovers, that's the biggest key to the game, man. They have to limit turnovers. If they come out and they have double-digit turnovers in the first half, just mark it up as a loss. It's not going to happen at the field house. They have to take care of the basketball. That's been their biggest issue all year. This is their chance. It doesn't matter if Perry scores 26 or more, like we just saw at Cincinnati. Somebody's got to step up, and they got to take care of the ball.
Man, I could say the same shit about KU though. Isn't that funny? I could say the exact same shit about KU. Like I told you just a few days ago, I think you guys are more than capable of going into the field house and beating us right now. You guys are more than capable. Um, Perry had a great game against KU too. I mean, last time they played, so he's gonna obviously going into Lawrence and beating them. I think that would mean so much, obviously, for everyone, but for Perry in particular, that guy has gotten so much shit. I mean, from a lot of people, I think, in the national media and whatnot, and at least local media, because he has been super inconsistent. And, I don't know if you want to call him like an overrated transfer, but yeah, he has not lived up to expectations. And he's playing now with an absolute just chip on his shoulder. You could tell this dude want to play in March. And that's going to be something scary for DeJuan Harris to go up against, I think. So I think it's going to be kind of inevitable that Tyler Perry has a good game at the field house. It's just a matter of if you can get Kaluma or Carter to step up with him.
Well, like you said, man, like he's been heating up the last few games here. Haven't really seen it towards the beginning of the season, but the last few games, man, he's been on fire. Like, he hasn't really missed too many threes. His shot's been there. He's looked comfortable. Even with the tough defense, it's not like teams haven't been guarding him well. He's just been able to find his shot recently, which is what he's really struggled with throughout most of the season. But these last few games, he pointed out against KU, he had a great game, but like you said, somebody else has got to step up, man. Perry can't do it all on himself. We saw it against Cincinnati. He tried to do everything himself. He got so close. But the thing is, you have to have one of these guys step up, man. Carter and Kaluma has both been on some rough stretches these last couple games, and you need that to turn around, especially going in the field house tomorrow. Perry could drop 30 points, and if Kaluma and Carter play the kind of like they did against Cincinnati, they're not going to win the game.
No, you're not. And I personally, from a KU perspective, tomorrow night. Well, I guess at the time of this recording, it's March 4th. But tomorrow night when they play, I don't even think Kev should play. I really don't. I think it's more important we have him healthy for March than Houston or Kansas State. I mean, mathematically, you don't even have a shot at winning the Big 12 anyways. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. You share that kind of sentiment with me? Hello?
No, I agree, man. Like you said, I think he came back a little bit prematurely. I don't think he needed to play against Baylor. I thought that was going to be a tough game for him regardless. I can see why he wants to play. He's a winner. But again, I think you're right, man.
No. Yeah, we'll see.
No, I think you're right, dude. I think he needs to sit out. They need him at full health in March, man. Like, they're going to struggle in the tournament without McCullough being at full health. Like, they can afford to lose against K-State. They can afford to lose against Houston, but they cannot afford to lose in the NCAA tournament.
No, you can't afford to lose in the tournament or Kev with some stupid knee injury that literally will put him out the rest of the year. Then at that point,
that's basically all I got to say about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about it, too. Yeah, going to be kind of a shorter video for this one. We'll talk more about Chiefs, free agency, and stuff as that ramps up. Not a whole lot. Oh, yeah, speaking of free agency, you see Mike Evans signed with the Bucks? I don't know if you saw that yet, but 2-year, $52 million. So that's another thing, I guess. We in Kansas City, we can kind of put that speculation to rest. So maybe getting guys like Darnell Mooney or Calvin Ridley, maybe people we were discussing a few days ago, maybe that all comes to fruition. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to add that little tidbit. Like I said, we'll cover more as free agency continues, and obviously in April when the draft occurs. But I think that's gonna wrap up this video, y'all. Peace out, John. Me dog. But,
yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace out.